The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show. Seeking super smart, super talented superheroes. How to be wow over the world and all around. The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show.
Whatever.
Yeah, we did. High five. Okay. Well, Kalli, welcome to the Top Knot Creative Show. We're basically, we seek out the super smart, super talented, superheroes. Pretty much.
So this was a fluke.
Take over the world. Make it super beautiful. Let's talk about you. So I just have to say that we have a mutual friend, and she said the following, that you'll most likely fade modesty when it comes to talking about marketing and what you know, but you have these killer instincts to die for, is what she said, and you have a magic touch with words. You're a smooth operator is what I got from that.
She's a liar.
Hey, I'm not going to say that she's not. No. I just know that she has a really incredible set of people. And like I told you before, I had to find my way into your lives. So, yeah, this is an excuse. I had to start a show to be able to talk to you.
Well, that was wow. Okay.
Yep, so thank you.
Go ahead and put that on my headstone when I die.
But, so your personal blog is mylifeasakalli.com, www.mylifeasakalli.com. First, let's talk about that, because I'm assuming, is that where you got started online?
Yeah, and so it was almost, 7 years ago, I think. I started it in 2007? That's 6 years ago? I can't count. I started it after I had gotten laid off from my job, and I was sitting at home, bored out of my brain, and I just thought, I need somewhere to put this crap out there. And so I just started a blog and started writing. I think my first post was about my hair, so it was super
You do have good hair. I like the photo with that.
Thanks.
So
thanks.
Bravo.
I worked long and hard to get my hair to where it is. But it, and then it evolved over the next few years into something that, I met some of my very best friends through blogging, and it kind of evolved into different, social media outlets and opportunities until, now I still write on my own personal blog, but I do a lot of writing for other people on their blogs or their websites, contributing to various outlets and things like that. And then, I do some different social media endeavors too. And it all kind of launched from my blog, though, or people that I've met through my blog, or, somebody that saw something that they liked or, contacted me that way. So it's been a really great outlet, and I think every time I get sick of it, I kind of have to remind myself that good things happen because of this dumb little blog that has a stupid name and, talks about babies and hair and other dumb crap. So
you do have cute babies, I have to say.
I do have really cute babies. Thank you.
Do you have like Chubs or something? There's one that.
Oh yeah, so I have a 4-year-old, and I don't talk about them online just because when they're older, I don't want them to be like, seriously, I can't get a date because you put it out there. Who knows who knows where the internet is going to be in 15 years when my kids start dating, or 10 years. I don't know when kids date these days. So I don't use their real names online, but yeah. So my oldest is the Nub, and he's hilarious. And then I have a 2-year-old who has been enormous since he was born. So somehow he got stuck with the name Fatty Fat Fat.
Okay.
And then we just call him Triple F now. So
so he could be a wrestler.
Yeah, he's that kid that's been in the 99th percentile since birth, essentially. So, he weighs 3 pounds less than his brother, who's 2 years older.
Oh, that is funny. He's
So
gonna grow up and be like super skinny or something.
yeah, he probably will, because that's the law of the universe, you know.
I know. Once you think you're dialed in, nope, let's...
Yeah, when you think you've got it, it's not the case. He'll probably be manorexic or something. I don't know. Poor little fella.
So
That's like we call him obese on my blog. He's not obese. He's just real solid.
He's cute. I mean, honestly, I saw a long time ago, actually, when Wendy started talking about you. I was like, that is one cute baby that you just want to like start
really,
nibbling
really
on.
cute.
So
He's pretty cute. And that's the nice thing about a blog, is that your children are cuter than anybody else's.
for sure.
So, you know, you're free to make those assertions and nobody can shut you down for fact checking.
So you start this blog, you start writing. Now, was there like a refinement process for you as far as like finding voice, or was it just like really natural to just be like, this is what we're doing right now?
It's always been really natural for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty careful about, I think, what I put out there. I think there are a lot of bloggers and writers that really bank on the drama in their own lives to kind of, you know, draw readership.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's never been about numbers or sponsors, or I don't even do ads on my blog anymore. I used to belong to an ad network, and then I was like, this is so dumb. Like, I hated complying with, you know, the different regulations. And, oh, we noticed you haven't posted for a week, or can you move your header down 0.2 of an inch, and blah, 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 blah. And it got to the point where I was like, you know, do I do this for me, or do I do this for whoever's writing me a minuscule paycheck every month? And so, you know, I took ads off my blog. I stopped. Sometimes I'll still take a sponsored post here and there if it's something that's like super applicable to what, you know, my family's doing or what I'm doing. But for the most part, it's just been this space where I can put my crap on there, and I should probably stop calling it crap. It is not crap.
But it's good crap in the good way.
It's good crap. My kids, I think more than anything, I think about it, you know, further down the line. I've never shut my blog down because I think that this is a good representation of this period of their lives and of my life, that they will always wonder who I was at that time. And one of my favorite things is that my mom always kept a journal growing up. And whenever, you know, we want to read about what we were doing at that point in our lives, she has volumes of these journals in her closet. And she doesn't care if we go through and look through, you know, everything that we were doing back then. I mean, who knows what you were doing in February of 1987? My mom does. And so, but it was, you know, it's fun because you go through and get this snippet of who you were and what you were doing, and you know, I've always found that I don't write it for my kids, I write it for me, but at the same time I really like that who I am because of it. So, and I think when you have kids and a family, it's hard to, like, you tend to lose your identity, you know?
Okay.
And since I had this blog before I had kids, I think it's a good kind of timeline to see how I've grown and how I've shifted as a mother, as a person, as a woman. And, you know, I like that there's kind of an online record of that, so that it will never, you know, get lost or burn up in my house fires that could happen.
At any time, yeah.
You put it on the internet, you're never taking it off.
I mean, I think that's perfect, and I mean, as you were going about this, and what did you notice? Because you're doing this for yourself, so you're not really considering. I mean, you know how to set up Google Analytics, but you're probably not like super invested in what those look like.
No. Yeah.
When did you start getting like? Was it kind of like, wait a minute, more people are watching, and what was that like? The growth.
Well, it kind of can get weird sometimes. Like,
Tell me about that. The weird.
I can remember the first time somebody came up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I read your blog," and I was like, well, "We're at Costco. This is weird.
I have a hot dog in my hand."
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just see that I bought a 57 count of tampons. We're cool. But I think you get to a point where, it's like I said, some of my greatest friends have come through blogging, and you find that you connect with these people because there's something that they're writing or that you're writing that resonates in them, and like it's easy to kind of sort through the people that are leaving comments just because they're like, I don't know, they love to leave comments, or the people that are genuinely like, all right, I get it. Like, I get what you're saying, you know? I mean, I can remember writing a couple posts about, let's see, even just my mom. My relationship with my mom is it's a thing that I talk about a lot on my blog. I call her my Connie. And she's kind of become this, like, celebrity within my circle of blog friends, essentially, because of the way that I talk about her and our relationship with each other, and even how I kind of try to take, you know, my relationship with her and put it into my relationship with my kids. And I've had so many people email me or talk to me about that, and about how they really connected with, you know, that relationship between my mom and I, and how they either have a similar relationship or they wish they had a relationship like that. And you find these small things that you have in common with one another, and they turn into, you know, sort of common ground. And so you start reading one another's blogs, and eventually you probably meet somewhere down the line. And it's kind of like this weird blogharmony.com, and you sort of like date each other. I don't even know how to say it. Like, you know, my other friend that you know, interviewed earlier, she's the same story. Like, we totally met online and started leaving comments on one another's blogs, and eventually we met, and now it's like, you know, I'll go to her kids' dance recitals if you want, and she'll show up and bring my family dinner or whatever. Like, that's, I think the nice thing about blogging is that you get to select your friends based on what you already have in common, versus trying to force a friendship out of, like, oh, we're neighbors, so we should like each other, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's kind of random, but
No, I think that works for the, I read recently, I can't remember, someone was saying, you know, social media, when it came about and all these platforms, you know, we all think it's to communicate and interact and, like, you know, whatever it translates into business, but really it came about because people have this need to, like, express themselves first, creatively, and then to actually you talk to people about what they're expressing, and then, you know, make it mutually beneficial, where, you know, you then go and you talk about their stuff that they're expressing.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, there are several people who've read my blog for years that have either emailed me randomly out of the blue and, you know, said something like, oh, I've been reading you for 5 years, and I just want you to know that, like, they'll connect with something that I wrote about or something like that, and it'll be like, you know, this crazy thing that you never thought was a really big deal. You just said it in passing, and to them it was like, oh, that meant the world to me. I was struggling with that day or something. Like, I don't get me wrong, I don't think of myself as, like, the blogging Tony Robbins or anything like that. But it's the same way for me. Like, I read other people's posts or, you know, something that they've linked to or anything like that, and it's raw, or it's real, or it's funny, and it's something that you connect with on some level, and that's why you keep coming back, or that's why you connect with them. And I just like the freedom that blogging has to offer, or, you know, I don't feel obligated to post on my blog any day. I don't feel obligated to make friends that way. I don't feel obligated to make a career out of it, but at the same time, like, some of those things just come naturally.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that. When did it kind of go into suddenly, you know, companies saying, hey?
Well, a lot of it, I mean, once you've been blogging for so long, it just kind of naturally opens up doors, whether it be through, I mean, the majority of it is through the relationships that you connect with. So several of the jobs that I've gotten, whether it be, you know, copywriting, which I do some of, or social media consulting or anything like that. Those all evolve naturally out of blogging. And the nice thing is you can use your blog as your resume. If people want a sample of your writing, you just go and pull a post that you feel is a good representation of what you're capable of, you know. And they like it because it's real. It's something that you wrote when you weren't under any sort of constraint. And, you know, it was, I hate to use this term, but it was super organic. And so people, you know, I mean, that's how I really got my first copywriting gig, was somebody pulled samples of what I had written and showed it to whoever was looking for work, and they totally dug it and, you know, hired me on to do some content for them. And so whether or not you know, understand it or agree with it or anything, I mean, blogging can totally be a profession or evolve into some sort of a profession. Mm-hmm. And I think there's people, you know, the term mom blogging is super annoying just because I think it denotes a sense of, like, desperation almost. Like, oh my gosh, we're stuck at home, we're mommies, we blog.
I got a camera. I'm a photographer.
Yeah, I totally got a DSLR. Look at Tommy, he's potty training. But, you know, most of the women that I know who are bloggers essentially are mommy bloggers. But at the same time, they're super smart entrepreneurs, you know, who are capable. And yeah, they might happen to have kids or work from home or something like that. But at the same time, like, major companies realize this too now. If you'll notice, like, so many women that I know have these entire, like, fantastic careers that sprung from blogging or whatever, you know. Some of the most successful bloggers out there are in a term, you know, mommy bloggers. They write about their kids, they write about their jobs, they write about working from home. They work with major brands and corporations, and these corporations, you know, they recognize that resource that they have. And so, I don't know, if you look at any of these blogging conferences that people go to, like, they're full of these crazy talented and successful people that get together and do great things. And it all started from blogs.
Yeah, but I think that's how most great things start. You're doing it because you love it, you want to, and you just end up kind of doing it right because you're not so worried about appealing on some other level. And companies,
exactly.
I mean, you go into companies, and let's talk about, you know, because you know my history, so I have a little bit of the experience of
sure.
You want to do it a certain way because you kind of feel in your gut it's right, but you probably go into these companies and you probably see how they're just doing it so wrong. And tell us kind of what are some of the top, like, just don't do this and here's why, even if they're super obvious.
As far as blogging goes, or as far
like
as
all of it, kind
goes?
of having that presence online where, you know, they launched this thing where everyone's interacting online, social media platforms, you know, including the blogging, and they're using it in the same way they've used other platforms, which is a mistake.
Well, I met with a client a few weeks ago, a potential client, and we talked about this kind of thing. And they were talking about how to, you know, first of all, they didn't even have a Google Analytics on their home site, so they had no idea, like, what was tracking people to their, you know, to their own website, where they were getting traffic from, what people were searching. The only time I ever check analytics on my blog is for entertainment. And I knew that I had, like, peaked when somebody Googled, like, fat baby sitting in a chair. And got directed to my blog, and I was like, that's it. I dropped the mic. I'm done.
That was a banner moment.
I've totally peaked. But I think the mistake a lot of companies make is being too impersonal, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Treating it, I think, as a business. Social media, the best social media accounts that I've seen have been ones where they kind of give a behind-the-scenes, you know, glimpse into how their corporation runs, how things are done. I think the thing about social media, blogging, you know, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Instagram is that it humanizes the experience for people. And so, you get to put faces with these major brands and these major corporations. And so I think the big mistake that a lot of corporations make are not showing those sides of their companies to their consumer base. People want to connect, especially if you're offering a product that is, has some sort of angle, like it's a local business and you hand make everything. Say you're like a local furniture company or something like that. The huge thing is showing the process. And a lot of corporations will go through and do that now. They talk about where they source their products from, how they go into manufacturing things, and essentially they talk about the entire, journey from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people respond to that sort of thing. Like, in the beginning, I think social media really exploded when people started doing, like, giveaways and things like that. But if you'll notice anymore, people really aren't that into it. They don't care about giveaways because what are the odds,
Mm-hmm.
But they'll connect with a brand that it's just like blogging, that resonates with them. So you like, hand soap, you're going to connect with that one kind of hand soap where they, use organic products and don't, recycle everything and blah, blah, blah. It's all about, touting the finer points of what you have to bring to the table. And so as far as social media goes, I think that's what people want to know is, like, what makes you good and why should I like you?
Mm-hmm.
And, you have a free forum to put it out there, essentially. So, I don't know, social media for business and social media for the individual are two different entities altogether. Like, yeah, your cousin or your niece, like we were talking about, can manage a Twitter account. But to go in and understand, the finer points of a marketing approach, like, that's a whole different ball game,
It is, and it's an expertise. The value that you offer is that, okay, how to come in and basically teach them how to be a human, find their brand and make that like a human experience. Well,
the angle that you come at is you are their consumer, essentially. You are the audience that they're trying to reach. And so it's kind of like bringing in an insider to the whole, whatever you're trying to accomplish. And you talk about bringing in an expert. You are the expert. You're exactly the audience that they're trying to reach. Mm-hmm. So if they want to pick a brain, they're going to want to pick yours.
Right, and then they have the added benefit of someone who actually can relay to them. Here's a checklist of, like,
yeah, exactly.
Do's, and then all that. So what other tips would you, if a company wanted to hire you, someone like you, to do that for them, what do they look for?
What would they look for?
Yeah, they can go and just, hire someone with a cat blog, but...
Well, I think you look for somebody who, that obviously you connect with, that you think would be a good representation of what your brand is trying to accomplish. If you're looking, I don't know.
Someone super dialed into, at least...
Yeah, you don't want somebody who's, I don't know. There are bloggers that work in different aspects. There's food bloggers, there's lifestyle bloggers, there's, they all have different niches that they're trying to fill. And so it's kind of like you need to find the person who, is a good representation of what your brand is. Sorry, excuse me. And for whatever reason, you connect with whatever they're writing about, see what kind of experience they have as far as social media goes, and if they're have their thumb on the pulse of what's going on. There are a lot of people who use social media to just be like, I'm tired, or my kid got into the pantry today and dumped flour everywhere, and ooh, that's so frustrating. Or if they're, smart and tweeting links to articles and interesting things and putting stuff out there that's actually contributing, I think, to society rather than adding to, like, the chum. You know what I'm talking about.
The noise, yeah.
There's a difference. And so anymore, I don't really use Twitter or Facebook more for like self-marketing purposes. I used to, I think, at certain points. But then it kind of gets exhausting because there is so much out there that you have to sort through.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep coming back to the people that put interesting things out there and, you know, link to interesting posts or things like that. News, you know, outlets or whatever. And so I think as a company, if you're looking for somebody, it's like you just said, you look for somebody who's dialed in, who seems to have good connections, who, you know, comes recommended. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is if other people can vouch for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, you know, Karina was saying before, it's a network, or it's like a family, you know, and you were saying there's relationships, romance.
Yeah, there really are relationships. And we talked about in the past, like, how did I get the job opportunities that I've gotten? It's been because of the network. It's been because of the relationships that I've formed. And so, you know, if you have five different bloggers that you're looking at, you're going to look at who they're connected to and who, you know, what their body of work says and what kind of relationships they have with people in the professional sense. And that's, you know, that's where you're going to find people that are going to be a valuable asset, essentially.
Now, is there anything that that you see, like the next thing or a change that's coming in the evolution of this?
The evolution of blogging.
Exactly.
We kind of talk about that a lot. Like, when is blogging going to die?
Yeah, or just like evolve
into something else.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think that, you know, we talked about kind of like the death of sponsored posts. That's kind of been like giveaways and stuff like that. That's totally snuffed out, it seems. And I think, I don't know, you just kind of have to roll with it. Like right now, Instagram is huge, you know, and it's kind of like mini blogging in a sense. I love Instagram, but I don't use it really to connect with other people. Like, I use it to stay in touch with the people I really already know. And so I don't really know. Like, it will be interesting to see where the next 5 to 10 years take us as far as social media outlets go. But, you know, there's always something next. Who would have thought, you know, 2 years ago that Pinterest would be as huge as it is now?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that Instagram, I remember when I first got Instagram, I was like, what is this? I have no idea. You know,
but
random.
The filters are so cool.
I know, and then like figuring out hashtags and things like that, how to connect. You know, I keep my account private personally because I post tons of pictures of my kids, and I like Instagram because it's easy. It's an easy snapshot of your day to day. And blogging is kind of that same thing, but it requires, I think, a little bit more thought.
Yeah.
It's for me. Like, it's easy for me to snap a picture of my kids and throw it up there with, you know, some lame caption, which I love lame captions. I'm really good at them.
A visual text there, you know. Hey,
yeah.
boom.
Yeah. What are you good at? Captions. But, you know, at the same time, like I said, I keep coming back to blogging because, you know, it's a good way to keep record of who I, you know, what I'm doing, what I'm going through, what's going on, and that sort of thing. And I like Instagram because it's a more instant connection with that, and I can always use Instagram to go back and kind of, oh, this is what we were doing, and blah, blah, blah. Most of the pictures I think I put on my blog are Instagram photos now. Just because, you know, convenient.
Yeah, it's so fast, and I mean, they're beautiful.
So
they work.
Oh, yeah, Instagram is the best. So, you know, as far as trends go, I don't think the blogging is ever going to die, per se, but it's definitely going to continue to evolve into whatever, you know, whatever's next. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about blogging is that you always have, like, that kind of safe thing to go back to. So no matter, you can Instagram your heart out or Facebook, whatever, who knows. But you can always go back to that one thing that you started in the beginning and that you love and whatever. But it's definitely changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back, you know, posts 2 years ago would have like 20, 30 comments. and now it's like, 5 or 6. But your traffic stays the same. So it's just whether or not, people. That's the thing about social media that's hard, is that there are so many different outlets for it that people can get you on, like 5 different fronts. And so they will have already left a comment on your Instagram about a picture that you're writing about on your blog or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not congregating at just one hub anymore.
Yeah, whereas in the beginning, like, blogging was really huge because that was kind of where you had to go for all the details. And now people will put it on Facebook or put it on, Instagram or put it on Twitter or YouTube or something like that. And there's all these ways you can leave comments or whatever. I don't know what people are talking about, but it's different. I don't know. Things have definitely changed in the last 6 or 7 years since I started my blog, but the same people are still reading.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is significant, and I don't even know, like, if there's new people still, like, searching for those blogs like they used to. I don't think it's like how it used to be, but at the same time, I don't know. If I write a certain post, I'll notice traffic spikes here and there if I remember to check. I love seeing what people search for. Some people are super analytics driven. I'm not. They're super into tags and however they title their SEO within their website or whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I know how to do it simply because I have to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I think probably the next trend, it's like we've talked about all along, is kind of being well-versed in everything so that you're capable of kind of rolling with it with whatever comes out next. And who knows, which of your friends or whatever is going to be on the forefront of that. Maybe you'll get in on it with them.
Well, you said some, like, a really important thing in the part that, okay, you know how to do all these things, which, you do that. You do that. That's why, companies will hire you. But then there's a really important aspect of, I can't think of a blog that I haven't found through another blog. So it's the tie into that core.
The networking.
Yeah. That, I mean, I think that's just how it's kind of built, and you build it, they will come.
Exactly.
So that's pretty significant, and something that I would say maybe even businesses pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a real problem when people put something out there online that isn't necessarily an accurate representation of what they're really about. You'll see there's a huge focus lately on image-driven traffic. So people are doing these crafts or these DIYs that are basically like works of art. The photography is gorgeous and everything is just stunning, stunning, stunning. But you lose this touch of, like, realism,
The grit. So you're like,
yeah, and it's not like you need to necessarily write about, like, oh, my husband and I got in this massive fight and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like, I think I get a little bit bugged with how picture perfect everything comes across as. And I think that's why I named my blog what it was. My life as a Kalli is like, it's my life as me. It's what I'm going through and what I'm doing, and it's never going to be this glossy, photoshopped view of whatever I'm going through. Like, that was never my point in starting a blog. But at the same time, like, there are people that put that out there. That's what they want you to see. That's what they want you to think. When in their real life, like, everything's falling apart and even their dog hates them. And so it's like, there are all these different types of blogs and all these different types of bloggers, and you just kind of have to either decide if you want to fit in with a group or if you'd rather just be what you are and not care.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably one of, like, your distinctions, is you've been able to do that and hold to it and just kind of caption, boogers happen, This is
so dumb.
I use Instagram and I like the photo, but, like, it's not, here, let me set this up for an hour. And I think that's really valuable, because my take on a lot of even business stuff is that if you can't, like, zero into a brand that's personable, then you're still just
Yeah.
missing the mark.
Well, exactly. And I think all of the different companies that I've, enjoyed working with or whatever, they enjoy that aspect of you. That you, if you wanted to, you could gloss it up a little, but at the same time, like, there's a certain realism to who you are and to what you bring to the table. And so, people appreciate that. And companies appreciate that. You don't want to bring somebody on board that's like, oh, yeah, I swear I can do this. I know that, well, look at these pictures. I'm amazing. When it's rather like the proof is in the pudding. Are you good at what you do? Are you a good writer? Are you capable of, holding an audience's attention? Can you connect with people? If you can check all of those boxes off, sure, who wouldn't want to hire you?
That, yes, is the part where, you do this, so you have personality, which, a lot of people have really great personalities, but then you can translate that into, like, this platform that then people can start digesting. So that's, now, are you taking clients? Is there a way to hire you if someone's listening to this and want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to want to hire me after how many times I said crap.
Oh, I think they will.
I promise. I know other words.
Your photos are pretty, though, so.
It's super Instagram special. I'm always open to taking new clients. I think, for me, the luxury of working from home is that you have the luxury of being picky with who you work with. And if the right opportunity comes along and it's worth it to you and you're excited about the company or the relationship, that you're building, then for sure, I'm always open to exploring new opportunities. So
I
call
find
me.
you on the mylifeasakalli.com.
You can find me there. My email is listed on the side. You can find me on Twitter if you really want to. I don't post any.
So there's multiple hubs. And we can also make sure that information is readily accessible. But for anyone who's listening who wants to hire you, wants to, have you be their keynote speaker at graduation.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I would totally take that gig if I were you.
Oh my gosh. I'd be like, can you swear in graduation speeches?
You hired it, so not apologizing, but
that's ridiculous. Just look at my blog, and if you like what you see, let me know.
We'll start a little something. But,
wow.
So thank you so much, Kalli, for being on the show. To our audience, thank you for listening. Now get out there, blog something beautiful, do something awesome.
Right.
And until next time, take care.